Welcome back to Sports Card Culture Podcast number 24 in honor of Kobe Bean Bryant. Today is Wednesday, April 28th. What's up, John?
Not too bad. Had a good day at the shop today.
We had an interesting night. I started getting texts about Vlad Guerrero's evening.
That is true.
And I got to see the highlights, and he crushed 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, 1 grand slam.
So I logged in my baseball this morning, and I do believe Ryan Mountcastle was my first baseman yesterday instead of Vlad, who was on the bench.
Oh, thank you for that. Nice. Well,
so
hello.
whoever I'm going up against, you're welcome.
You're welcome. John decided to give a mulligan to his
that
opponent.
was one of those ones where he had a day off, so I put him in there.
Yep.
And then yesterday I skipped.
Which is interesting. I had a long conversation with a customer who's a baseball guy in the shop today, and he stocked up on Vlad this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of reasons. I think everybody, he kind of took a step back last year, but so did everybody. It was such a weird.
Yeah,
it was
he
like
didn't, though.
He didn't. Like Bo Bichette kind of stole probably more attention.
Yeah.
But then when he saw Guerrero got in better shape, I think his dad. I heard a story today that his dad called him and told him you need to swing more, because basically I think he's been pretty selective and not maybe being as aggressive and attacking and stuff. And obviously his dad was much more of a free swinger.
Yeah.
His dad was a monster, by the way. Just what an undervalued, just
He was
crusher.
faster than he looked.
And his bat movement was just so fun to watch. He was just all over the place. He had a very unorthodox stance. The whole
he
deal.
had a big swing too. It was a big sweep.
He was not afraid to get his full cut.
It wasn't like swing to contact.
Which, by the way, Vlad Guerrero right now, with all this, I think he's got 7 home runs. He's hitting 360.
Yeah.
The guy's making really good cut, which tells you usually the power guys you're worried about the snow issues of this guy's striking out.
But let's understand. Let's go back to he had a bad year or whatever. His rookie year, he had 272, 14 home runs. He was 20.
Right.
Last year, short season, he had 268 and 8 home runs.
Yeah.
Those are great years for a 20 and 21-year-old.
Right.
What we're seeing here was he had so much hype.
So much hype.
He
was probably more hype than almost anyone else that
more than
class.
Acuna, more than probably more than Wander. He's more hype than Wander is right now. Easy.
I mean, I remember Vlad Guerrero in 2017 when you and I were at the National. I remember someone cleaning us out of his Bowman first, and someone being like, "I'm all over this guy."
Now here's the thing, though. This is one of those things in the market where this is why in some of our earlier podcasts I talked about he's a good guy to buy.
Yeah.
Because it's those are really good seasons for their age.
For the age.
And what the hobby was doing, they were saying, "Oh, he's over because he didn't meet the hype."
Right. That's not the way it works. You got to have patience.
He should be getting drafted in the first round right now.
Right.
And then he should spend this year in rookie ball.
He shouldn't be up hitting Major League. Not only that, he hit Max Scherzer.
Yeah.
Max Scherzer's given up 1 home run all year or something. I think they hit 1 or 2 of the 3 off him.
I don't know.
I mean, it was. They said it was.
If I was on the ball, he would have been starting.
They said he's only the fourth father-son to hit home runs off a Cy Young winner or something. Random stat, obviously. But it's him, Bonds, Griffey, and I don't know who the other one was.
Yeah.
But, a couple.
I love those stats they pull in the middle of the game. This is the
baseball is the king of
third time that 3 home runs been hit on a Tuesday afternoon past 4 in the 3rd inning.
With under 74 degrees in temperature. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Okay. The humidity. What am I supposed to do with this information? Football does that, but not as much.
I mean,
as
it's a pretty cool stat for both his dad's longevity.
Yeah.
And like you said,
his ride 22 years, 21 years,
95 to. Yeah, I mean, I think it was I don't think it was
20.
Is it 20?
I think it was 20 years at least. I think 21.
And that guy had an absolute
possible age
cannon for an arm.
For some reason, I'm sticking with 21.
Oh my goodness.
So while you look that up, we always want to call attention to anytime somebody leaves a comment or asks a question. And then if you agree with me in the comment, and let's be clear, agreeing with me is not necessary, but disagreeing with Clint will get you featured at the beginning of the next podcast.
Wow.
So woohoo, that is the username. Woohoo.
That's how they celebrate.
So first, he had a really nice compliment for Evan. I appreciate that you guys finally have your microphones around the same decibel level for the first time ever. Usually John is 3 times louder. I enjoyed I enjoy the podcast, fellas. Have a good one. I kind of phrase that as Clint is 3 times softer, and I'm normal.
Thank you.
But that's a really good compliment. We're figuring it out. So thank you, Evan, for whatever you did last. Did you do anything different last week? Or just
DJ
not
Evan.
deserved? Oh, so this is an undeserved compliment.
I started
Got
making
it.
out with the mic, and John stopped. Yeah, there we go. By the way, 16 years for Vlad Guro Sr.
16. Wow, I had 21
And
in my
believe,
head.
what would you just off the cuff guess his career batting average was?
291.
See, that's right where I would have been in the 280 to 300 range.
You're 300.
318.
Yeah, 300.
318, and he had 450 homers.
Wow.
And almost 2,600.
By the
hits.
way,
so like we're talking, he was second ballot, 93%
I did
in
not
the Hall of
realize
Fame.
that. By the way, after
Guy's a
our
beast.
conversation last week, I looked at Joe Mauer. I didn't realize how high his average was. Even though I know he's an average guy, I just kept thinking his later years were so down and accounted for. It really didn't. He's like 328 or something like that.
Like 318, we're talking like
That's
some of the best hitters average wise. Like Larry Walker gets in on average. He's like 313
wouldn't
or
that
14.
be top easily? I mean, Ken Griffey Jr. was 299. Everybody remembers that one. He had 300. But it's got to be top 20-ish.
I mean, that is so
I mean,
much higher for how many home runs he had. how
Well,
much power
especially
he
in
had.
a long career. Like, lots
Yeah.
of people have
Yeah.
300 average because they got hurt in their third year or whatever. But anybody in the Hall of Fame, I got to
The
think
guy,
he's
the guy
top
was
20.
literally a 5-tool. Like
And he
won,
had
won
500 home runs.
He won 8 Silver Sluggers. He was actually the AL MVP in 2004, 10 years into his
I
career.
didn't realize he
like,
won MVP.
I didn't remember that either. I'm like, 04, okay.
Are we making an argument that Vlad Sr. is who we got to target and not Jr.?
Oh, yeah. No, I think Vlad.
I think that's what we're making the argument.
Yes. No, I think it's
Is
actually.
Montreal's part of the problem.
Yep.
Angels is part of the problem.
Big part of his
Wilson
teams.
is part of the problem.
Yep.
Where else did he play? Angels, Expos.
Rangers and Orioles were his last 2
Oh,
stops.
that's right.
A year
Those are
apiece.
those weird
Yeah,
stops.
Yeah,
Yeah,
year
at the
apiece.
end.
But I'll say this much: Vlad Guro Sr. is way better than Fernando Tatis Sr. And some people just think like, those guys are both like, no, these two are true.
Vlad did not hit 2 grand slams in one inning.
No, he didn't. No.
Like,
It's the greatest.
Holy moly!
Guess where he is among Hall of Famers?
20.
Average 42.
42?
42 buckets above him.
Wow.
What did Puckett hit? Like 320?
He's at
310 maybe.
Buckets 41.
No, that's what Vlad's at.
Wow.
318. Wow.
So then Woohoo made a second comment.
Yes.
I think so. He didn't preface it with anything, but like he must have been listening to a part of the podcast. Because he's like, also Harper has a higher career. We're talking about Harper and Mookie Betts.
Yep.
Harper has a higher career OPS than Mookie Betts. Not sure why you're acting like average is so key. Mookie's defense obviously is better, but offensively I'll take OPS over average. God, I don't know. What do you think, Evan? Do you take OPS over average? Because it implies run generation.
Break down OPS for people. Do you know what?
Average is better than
Does
that.
anybody know
OPS
the-
is a hard formula.
Base plus slugging.
Plus slugging.
Okay. And is it multiplied and then divided evenly or not?
OPS is my hardest one.
Okay. So I
Because
I understand what it's commuting.
Conceptually,
Yep.
it's the hardest one, but the concept is that it implies run generation.
Yep.
So not only do I get on base, I'm creating a run,
Yep.
Combination of the two.
but I'm
numbers.
driving runs in. Hence
So
slugging.
OPS. Let me ask you. So does your ability to score weigh
Yeah.
just
But
as
that's the
heavy
OBP
as
part.
your? Okay. Yeah.
So,
So
not
like
only do I get
so.
on base, but I'm driving.
So like, what's Ricky Henderson's OPS?
Oh, I
Then?
bet
It must be super high, right?
ridiculous.
It must be super high because not only did he actually generate,
OBP is
he
ridiculous.
he just scored so
and then
much.
he's a home run hitter.
He's the all-time
Yeah.
leading run scorer, so it has to be like
Right.
almost the highest.
You know, I
Okay.
think he has the record for most leadoff home runs.
Yeah, he does.
In,
Yep.
in baseball.
most first pitch,
I mean,
most
easy,
first at
because
bat,
most leadoff
most-
hitters don't hit home runs.
His
Right.
career OPS is .82.
.82.
And what do we have for Harper? Do
Oh,
we
he
have the
didn't
number?
mention.
Oh, but he just said Harper's
Yeah,
is
but
higher.
it's a lot higher
Yeah.
than Betts. So, but that's
Yeah.
that's an interesting take on it. I appreciate additional
Harper's
I like-
information.
Harper's .904.
Well,
Wow,
Higher than
I mean, I like
higher
the,
than Ricky Henderson.
So what I like about that is that's a little bit deeper dive than just
absolutely.
the surface level.
Yeah, I was doing very simple stuff. Are you going to hit 500 home runs? Are you going to hit 3,000 hits?
And average, but I'll say this much. Your ability to generate runs, this is what's not factored. Your ability to generate runs depends on other players on your team being on base.
That's true.
So a worse player on a worse team has less opportunity because he's hitting solo home runs.
I will say, though, that baseball card collectors do look at RBI a lot when
Yeah.
they're investing in cards.
Yeah.
And that's 100% somebody has to be on base,
yeah,
other than your own run and a home
Your
run.
own solo home run.
Yeah, or your home
So
run.
as I think about that, who's been on better teams, Betts or
Yeah.
Harper? I don't know. I mean, they both played. Harper, probably Betts has been on better teams too. I would
Yeah.
say on average, right?
I
So I mean,
well, the Nationals weren't great, but they became great.
they
with
became
him on
better
there.
after he left. He was there with Soto though for
No.
one
I mean,
year.
they got better with him on it. Then they
Yep.
won the World Series when he
When
left.
he
So
left,
that's a little kind of weird tidbit in there.
Right. Whereas now the Phillies are not nearly as good as the Dodgers. So
But
the
the
fact that
Phillies-
Harper has a higher OPS and is on a worse
Here's the
team.
thing,
is,
though, the Phillies still have a pretty stacked team. I mean, I don't know
Re-
what their record is.
I mean,
I've
Reese
really seen the
Hoskins and
Phillies
Alec
at all.
Baum, those guys, they got some good little.
Yeah.
Hoskins leading the league in home runs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hoskins is a good value. We have a customer who's a Phillies guy, and he always buys them just because he collects them. And I'm like,
why not?
and now all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, I mean, there's
That's
some
actually going to go into a game we're going to play. I haven't
Okay.
told you what the game is yet.
fun.
So I do have a story about a customer that came in yesterday.
Okay.
Customer's been here once or twice prior. His name is Alan.
Okay.
All right. So what up, Alan?
What up, Alan?
I'm going to tell you a story. I asked him if
We're
I could tell.
gonna try not to embarrass you, Alan.
Oh, it's embarrassing.
Oh,
But like
okay, we are gonna
he's
embarrass you.
really like cool about it. Like I was embarrassed for it, not embarrassed, but I felt so bad for him. He's like, "Nah, it's cool." I'm like, "What?" So wait, listen to this. He goes, he was looking at my Zion Red Ice 10.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Oh, you up for trading?" Or maybe. Oh, he has some really nice cards. And but the Zion, I'm sort of taking your advice about. I want to go to the Dells with that and try to work out a trade
Mm-hmm.
where maybe I can get a few $1,000s worth of cards for that Zion 10.
Right.
It's kind of like what you said. So we had a
Trade for,
conversation.
but like some guys want to trade up, and I'm happy to trade
Right.
down if it is more.
Yeah.
I'll do both. I do both all the time.
we had a conversation coming back from the 19 National, I believe.
Yep.
And we're just chatting, and you said,
Something profound, I'm sure.
yeah, or about selling Michael Jordan rookies and how not to ever sell a Michael Jordan rookie. The guy from North Dakota, who am I thinking of?
Brent Wyatt.
Brent, yeah. So Brent had told you like why are you selling Michael Jordan rookies? And you brought something up. I never thought of it, but he goes, I would never sell a Michael Jordan rookie. I would only trade Michael Jordan rookies for more inventory, because for a $5,000 Michael Jordan rookie, you can maybe get $14,000 worth of inventory and smalls. And I was like, that's a really interesting concept.
I actually have both thoughts because I also think there's times where unless I'm getting, well, I'll say it this way, unless I'm getting much more in
Well, that's what I'm
trade,
saying, yeah.
then it's so liquid for the cash price that I.
Right, but I found that extremely intriguing that,
Well,
like,
actually,
well, yeah, people would do that.
let me tell you the context to that initial conversation with Brent. A couple months earlier, a customer of ours has a blue 09 Bowman Draft Mike Trout Auto 9510.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so this card's been in the shop a couple times. We made him an $18,000 offer back in 2019 when the cards were
Yeah.
selling for 24. Well, now it's 100,000. He ended up not selling it to us. He held on to it. He bought two
Right.
of them in 2010 for $400.
Good move, customer.
Sold one of them for like $5,000, and then he kept the other one. And I was telling Brent, I said, Brent, if I got this, do you have anybody that I could move
Would
it to?
buy
And
it,
he
yeah.
goes, you could get so much in
Right.
trade. And I was like, what? I'm like, why? I'd rather get 25,000 cash. He's like, no, like
No.
you could almost,
$100,000.
I don't know if I'm saying double the
whatever.
value, or you could get an extra 20,
And by the
30,
way, we're not
40%.
talking about dollar cards. We're talking about $100 cards, $50 cards.
Or no, I think like on that Trout, we're talking like I want
Oh, no,
4
but-
Jordan rookies,
No, but that's
8
what I'm
Brady
saying, but
rookies,
like a few
7
$1,000
yeah,
cards. I mean, this is not like 100,000 cards, but maybe
Right.
a few hundred cards.
a few hundred
300
cards
cards.
at hundreds, thousands of
Yeah,
cards.
right.
And that to me was,
I thought that was really interesting.
like I've always been, Mike and I have been in the mode where I'd rather just take
Right.
the cash, but like once you get enough of that, you're like, well, if I can leverage that. So my buddy, I just sold, and this is a story I think we talked about last week. I sold a guy that the Ichiro Topps Chrome Rookie
Yes.
10. So we comped in the deal at $5K. We did our normal discount with this guy. He didn't pay full price.
Yeah.
But he turned around and traded it away
Yeah.
for $6,000 in trade.
Yeah.
And he's into it for significantly less than that. And part of it is the pop is low enough on that card. There's only a couple hundred that somebody who has a lot of really good cards who wants it.
And we talked
Was willing to give up some
with,
stuff. Yep.
with Jeremy about how there's some guys who will only trade for cards that they want.
Yep.
They won't buy it.
Because other guys won't sell certain cards,
Yeah.
so you need to be able to intrigue them with something.
Right.
To believe it or not, John, there's people who are not as intrigued with cash
They're not,
as they
yeah.
are Kobe Bryant autos.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, here's the reason I found, the really, really sought after, the most desirable, let's say 2% of cards, very rarely get sold.
Right.
A lot of
Don't come
times
to
they never
market.
even get put in people's cases. Or if they do, they get put in there with the not for sale.
Yeah.
So-
or the price where it's basically not for
Not
sale.
for sale.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting idea that
No, and I remember I told you when you said that. I remember being very in my thoughts after saying that, and I don't think I've done that yet. I don't think
Yeah.
I've had a big enough card to really do that with. But I remember I was at Twins Fest one year. I had a table there, and then we hear a scream from across. This was when it was in the Metrodome, so I want to say it was 2004. I think that it might have been actually, no, I know what it was. The year that we released David Ortiz, because I found 2 David Ortiz Donruss signature rookies autos for $1 a piece, and that was nice. So I hear woohoo, yeah, screaming from across. I'm like, what is going on over there? And it turns out a guy had traded his entire collection for Randy Moss NFL Shield patch card. This is early 2000s.
yeah.
And if I remember correctly, it was 1 of 2 or 1 of 3, which I don't know how you do a shield card 1 of 3, or maybe it was 3 elements of the jersey. So one was a shield and
One was a shield, one was the champion, or
yeah,
whatever the jerseys were
right.
at the time.
And so,
Yep.
but he had a shield, and this kid was so happy, and we were asking around like how much you trade him, and it was something like $8,000 or $9,000 worth of cards for that card, and that card was probably only worth a couple grand. That was a big card, but he traded 4 times the value for it.
Uh-huh.
And I kind of thought about that. I go, okay, I'll keep that in the back of my head if I get into some higher.
Now here's
cards and
here's
have
the
customers
benefit to
that might do
trading
that.
too is when you trade, you don't have to deal with fees
Right.
to liquidate. So
Well,
Any-
you do, but you do on the back end of what you got, and now you got to liquidate that stuff.
or if you're not gonna
So
liquidate
technically, you're gonna pay more.
Yeah,
if you-
but if you're a collector, I understand trading because I have to sell my card, pay fees,
Yeah.
now turn around, use
Yes.
that money, now I have less money.
That's true.
That's what I'm.
That's true. Oh, I get what you're saying. You're saying the one acquiring the big
Yes.
card.
Yes.
Not only doesn't have to do the work, but they don't have to pay.
They have more leverage.
13, maybe 20% because
Right.
we're shipping. Oh, that's interesting.
So literally, I can take $5,000 in cards instead of selling them and only getting $4,400, and then having $4,400 cash. I have $5,000
So
in
if they're
trade.
trading you 4 times value, they're only really trading you 3 times value because one of those times is fees.
One of those times is fees. Yeah.
Very interesting. And then maybe just they can't sell through.
Yep.
Part of it. That's very
And
interesting.
there's certain cards that people aren't thinking about letting go until there's a card that they want more. Like
Right.
there's cards for me where I'm like, well, I'm not selling that card, but all of a sudden if there was a card that I couldn't obtain unless I leveraged those cards, then I'd be willing to. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, which
By the way, this is very usual in our weekly phone call. So one of the things we always said is like this is all we're trying to do is tape our phone call. I brought up the subject and we proceed to talk about something else for 10 minutes.
right. This
So-
is the State of the Union every
And
week.
by the way, I never have notes. So had I not had notes, I would never finish this conversation,
Yes.
and then I would have told you the next phone call, right?
I love it.
So anyway, so I'm about to make a trade, or possibly make a trade. End up not seeing anything I really wanted, and then when I told him that, I said I'm hoping to actually make a trade at the Dell show, maybe some cash and a bunch of cards. So he shows me this card. He has a 2014 Topps Finest Red Refractor Tom Brady 24 out of 50. All right. He told me, he goes, it was a Beckett BGS 9, right? Subgrades were 10, 9.5, 9.5, 8. 8 was surface. So what's the problem?
Fingerprint.
Fingerprint, scratch, whatever, right?
Not a scratch. Nope, scratch would be much lower than 8.5.
Well, it really would be.
Yeah, oh,
Well, it was a 9.
The surface was a 9?
No, total was 9.
No, but what was the surface?
Surface
grade?
was an 8.
Nope, it would be lower than that with a scratch.
Oh, it would be. So
It could be like it could be a combination of like a laser line and like a dimple or something.
Right.
It's a scratch is almost always 7 or 6.
Fair enough.
Yep.
He cracked it. He's like, yeah, I know. And then he started telling me the story. I go, I know what you're doing. You're going to clean it up, send it back. All right, cool.
Yep.
Very normal stuff. He uses something called Maguire's compound card wax.
Maguire's, yep.
He rubbed the serial number off the card.
Well, the serial what?
The serial number was on the front of the card in silver foil. It is no longer on the card.
What card? What product?
So it was 2014 Topps Finest Red Refractor. I had to take the card and look one up on eBay.
Hold on a second. I thought the serial numbers were actually like.
Yeah, they were indented, but the thing took off the foil.
But you can still see the numbering.
You can see the indent.
Wow.
You cannot see the number.
Yeah,
like
you can.
I had
just
to
a little
really
advice,
look at it
guys.
to see the indent.
PSA does not like cleaning cards with
Yep.
wax. It will
But
take
no,
an
dude,
autograph right
dude,
off
so
the card.
my
too.
question is, if he sends that in, does it come back altered, or does it come back with like a 1 surface? Or does it come back with a 6 surface?
No,
What
it
do you-
doesn't.
what do
No,
you
the
think?
surface is going to be fine. It's not. They're not judging like we talked about this.
Well,
the
kind
lack-
of with my Anthony Hardaway.
Yeah. The lack of the foil doesn't devalue the surface.
So if he sends that card in, could he now get a 9.5?
Yeah. Well, and I'll say this much: he's actually likely to catch a grader who doesn't realize that
that serial number's
specific
not there.
card should have had foiling. Like I'd have to look and see what it looks like.
No, dude. Like it's when I say there's no foil, there's no foil. It's an indent. That's all it is. An indent. There's no color.
But
It looks
how?
red.
But how obvious was the foiling with the red prior?
Because
See,
it was
I've never.
silver. It was a silver foil. It was very small.
Yep.
Very small. It wasn't a substantial part of the card. Well, that's really interesting. So you think maybe you should send that card in?
Oh yeah, I think so.
You get a 9.5 on it.
Why not?
Now you got to still note it on the eBay listing. You still got to be like,
I don't know.
there's a whatever, because you're gonna catch a return on that.
I wouldn't if it's a 9.5. It's a 9.5.
But you think it still
What
might be a
card is it?
9.5? 14 Finest Red Refractor Tom Brady. Look it up. 2014 Red Refractor Tom Brady, number to 50. Wow. All right. So
Wait,
Alan,
the reds are numbered to 50. Okay.
maybe send that card in. That's wow. But you're right. We talked about that with the Hardaway. The Hardaway is all jacked up,
Right.
and I got a 7 on the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's nothing wrong. I mean, there's edge problems, but there's nothing wrong with the surface.
Right.
Except it's missing
The lack of
missing a bunch of foil.
It's missing something. Not. It's.
No, that was PSA, not back at. So maybe there's a.
That's true.
difference
I have a
there.
fun. I have a fun PSA story.
All right.
So I got the phone call I hate getting. I
Fun
dread
for me,
getting.
not fun for you.
I dread getting. I very rarely get. And thankfully, this was one of my own cards.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this at the time, but they called, and anytime you get a direct phone call from PSA, that's something
bad's happening.
Something's bad's happening because they're trying to cover up.
They're not going to give you a prize for 100 free. Grading.
So they called and said we damaged a card.
They damaged the
Yeah,
card.
yeah, they damaged a card. So Drew Brees Topps rookie, the collection variation. It's actually out
Oh
of a
no.
complete set.
Okay.
It graded an 8.5. After they graded it, they went to put it in the holder and they pinched the top of the card in the holder.
Oh,
And-
okay. So it clamped down like when a pack.
So when they seal
gets
it,
crimped.
if the card isn't laying
Yeah.
in there, it'll actually damage.
But what you're
it.
saying is though, like when we see this with crimped cards in packs, and then they come out crimped. So it's kind of the same thing. They
Same deal.
encapsulated
Yeah.
it and crimped that.
When
Okay.
when they encapsulated it,
Wouldn't be
damaged
crimp,
the
but yeah,
top
okay.
edge of the card. And she's like, it's a 4. It was an 8.5. Here's the part that frustrated me.
So
we
what
went back.
what
and forth.
happened?
Yep.
I
So
have no idea what happened.
here's what happens. You type in what's called your declared value when
Yeah.
you send the card.
Yeah.
The declared value is the value to which you want them to insure the
Yes.
card in their possession.
And how much you saying the card's worth
How much-
after grading?
No, before grading, because you don't know what grade it's going to be. You're not. I mean, you're trying to. If you know it's a 9, you're not going to put the value at a 2.
No,
but,
you're not
yeah.
going to maximize it, but
Yeah.
it is in theory
So,
supposed to be
but here-
after.
Well, and so
Right.
here's the problem. She goes, our SMR guide at 8.5
Yeah.
says the value of the card's $160
What?
or 100. I'm sorry, 100. Yeah,
What was it supposed to be again? A 9?
8.5.
8.5, okay.
So, or she said like 175, which the SMR is usually below the actual market.
Yeah.
She goes, you declared the value for 150.
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, I did. Now here's the problem, and this is where it becomes a double standard. When I get a card graded a 10 and the market has
upcharge
gone up, they upcharge me.
Well,
Now they damage a card. Well, I declared the value a year ago on that card. That card got sent in June or July.
what's 85 go for?
They're like 350. And so I said to her, I'm like, I would like to get a little bit more. And we ended up going back and forth. She's like, well, I'll cover the grading. The grading, obviously, I'm not paying
You
for
don't
it.
have to pay for how kind
Now
of
she goes, and then this is the other option. You'll get to have this conversation. You get the choice of, do you want the card in the 4 grade, an authentic grade, just an authentic, or not holdered and sent back. You can choose, basically.
Authentic.
So that's what I did. I just said authentic. So I don't even think I'm going to
So
sell
what you
it,
end up settling at?
So I think she gave me 160. I think 160.
Yeah, that's a bunch of crap because you're right. They would upcharge you if the market went up.
Yes.
But now they're going, no.
Well, she goes, in our terms and agreement, or in our whatever. I mean,
but like you're not making enough money. You got to screw around over $150 bucks.
Card really get damaged.
Very rarely.
Gotta be rare.
I've only had a couple.
Yeah, right.
I've only ever had a couple. Jeremy has a lot more because they have more
Like how
cards
many?
sent.
How many you think Jeremy? Oh, we should ask Jeremy. You're probably a bad person now.
Half of 1% or a quarter of 1%.
Very.
Very
Next
small.
time I talk to him, I'm gonna ask him.
Maybe it's as little as 1 in 1,000.
Yeah.
But now here, the hard part is this. So there's this tension of I want to declare the value high, but the higher I declare the value, the more it costs me to grade it.
Oh, and the more insurance you got to pay.
More insurance.
No, on the way back because you have that insurance policy.
Yeah. So it's not. It wasn't a fun one, and the whole time I just kept thinking, I hope this is my card, not somebody else's. Because my card, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, you graded a few free cards, and it ended up being our card. But I was like, oh man, that was a treat. So we got the famous the fact they were actually it was funny.
They were honest about it.
Yeah, and she called. She's like, "Oh, I'm actually from Minnesota." We had a long conversation. It was fun. I mean, she was happy that I wasn't that upset about it.
Yeah,
I was like, I mean, I'm glad it wasn't a Jordan rookie. I mean, a Jordan rookie, we would have had another conversation if she was like, "Yeah, you declared the value at 2,000. It graded a 7. It's worth 6. And we're going to give you 2,500."
Well, I'll tell you this: I stopped doing business to check out my cards at the 2019 National. Was that 17 National? Maybe that's 17 National. I gave him a bunch of cards because I was at 19. So I gave him a bunch of cards, and I can't remember what year.
To put in your system.
And to put in the system. So at the National, you can give them your box with the order form. They'll bring it back with them. So they, I get an email that like 74 of your cards are, it's with 17 National. 74 of your cards out of 250 were below condition, so they weren't willing to put them in the system.
Yeah, because now they do. They put them in with qualifiers.
Yeah, but so I think they offered that maybe.
Like you can have them say scratch
so
or
they sent it back, right?
Yep.
74 cards all have a ding on the bottom left-hand corner of the card. They dropped my whole stack of cards.
Right.
They all landed as a, they had a grip of them, and the guy dropped it, and they all jammed on the same corner.
Or do you think the box got smashed?
I didn't do that.
The box could have got
smashed.
smashed.
Yeah, but I had like 250 cards that only jammed the 74.
Well, if the corner of the box, I don't know. I mean, I'm saying, it's something happened.
And it was in their care, too.
Right,
so it was in their care regardless.
Yep.
And it's like, no, not us. You did that. Yeah, I dented 74 vastly different cards on the same corner.
And I decided to pay you to list them after I knew they were damaged.
So I buy there, but I don't sell there anymore. After that experience, I'm just like, and I sort of have a different approach anyway, so it's not even a factor.
Because it can happen for sure.
I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
It's just like that. So that's kind of an interesting thing where they admitted.
No,
that
let me say this. I will admit this. People complain about, well, how can PSA charge more to grade a card that's worth more? This is the reason.
Liability.
This is the reason.
Yeah.
It's exactly the reason. In other words, they saying, if you want us to receive your declared value at $25,000, and if we pinch the card, we owe you $25,000. You're paying us $1,000 because we know every X amount of them.
Here's the thing, the insurance policy that they have is much like yours. Their premium, they're charging way more than that.
Right.
That liability exposure.
Which is
way more.
Which is what good business do. Like,
We're down way more. So that is true. Maybe not as true.
Well,
as it
and
maybe
not
sounds.
only that, you're paying for two things. You're paying for the liability. You're also paying to get to the front of the line. Which,
that's absolutely true.
That's
but
more.
But they make you.
Uh-huh.
That's the problem. They
Yeah.
make you do it.
So anyway. PSA.
So so today I finally saw my first Twins game. It was the YouTube live baseball game of the week.
Nice.
And so Max was here. What up, Max? And so we're watching the game. We got it on. And I go, Buxton's gonna hit a home run. First at bat. Then boom, he hits a home run.
Guy's on fire.
Right. And then I go, I bet he hits a double next time. Boom, he hits a double next time.
No way.
Yep. I called it. Max will verify.
Just calling shots.
And then
Who are you,
I
the
go,
Great Bambino?
Then I go, he's gonna hit the cycle. He's gonna go. It's gonna go walk, single, triple, and then first pitch on that third at bat, he laces the one in right field. Just a beautiful hit. First pitch, I was like, there's no way they're gonna throw at him in the third at bat.
Yeah.
So they're gonna walk him. They're just gonna be all over. No, first one. I mean,
He's
not
actually-
dead middle, but like they threw him a pitch.
He's been swinging at first pitches and hitting them really well.
I need 5 for 5 today. 2 doubles, a home run. 2 doubles, a home run, 2 singles.
He's got to be in.
he beat out an infield single too.
He's got to be an early MVP favorite right now.
Absolutely. And we talked about Buxton before. It was like he's been like this 4 or 5 times.
Right.
And then he gets hurt.
And then he gets hurt.
So if he can stay healthy.
Knock on wood. Bayern Buxton. Get a
knock
season
on plastic.
goal.
Okay.
Plastic. Yeah.
Knock on your head. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
But I do think one thing. I think the Twins are going to go on a tear.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the way we're losing, we're losing tie games, 1-run games.
Yeah, but we're losing with poor defense too. Which
I understand that, but
frustrating.
this is just a small sample.
Do you think Rocco
bias.
needs to go?
No.
You don't think? No.
I think we're gonna go on a tear.
Okay.
I think May and June is we're gonna forget all about April.
So when are we gonna go to a game and then go hit up your brunch place again? That was
there you go.
Wow.
Jack Cafe.
Oh, my
Once you can go
goodness.
there, we're definitely doing that
Let's go.
again. So yeah, I called. I just thought that was kind of a fun one. So I got a game for us to play. Oh wait, before we get into the game.
Yes.
So it's over now, but right before you guys showed up, maybe about 7 o'clock, I'm on YouTube. I like to listen to stuff while I was with kids. I was building Donruss basketball sets. And Jeff Wilson, the sports card investor, was doing a break of 96, 97 Topps Chrome basketball.
Wow.
And when I got on there, I think it was like 6 or 7 or 8 packs deep, and had pulled nothing. Like no rookie, no refractor, no nothing. And what he's doing is he's auctioning off each pack after he opens the previous pack. So
at that point, he's hoping the packs continue bad because then the price goes
and
way
that's
up.
exactly what happened. So they were getting up to like $9.50, and then Matt came over and wanted to deal in the shop with a Matt, and he pulled the Kobe rookie.
How much did that pack go for? Prior or
$1,050 maybe, or $1,200.
$1,200. Okay.
That one went for $1,200, and I'm watching this, and Jeff Wilson. I hope Jeff Wilson listens to the podcast. Jeff, stop touching the cards. Put it in a soft sleeve.
And hold it in the top.
And hold it in the soft sleeve. Put it in a top load and hold it in top load. He is just molesting this card and talking about it and moving it. Every time you're moving it, you can drop it. At every given second, every additional second, there's a potential for a drop.
Yeah.
Get
you
it
can tell it.
secured.
Well, here's what you can tell is he's not a card breaker. He doesn't. He doesn't break.
But I open my own boxes. I sleeve it before I look at it.
That's true.
And don't get me wrong, sometimes that's personality, because I have customers that are in the store, and they open up packs and they put them down, and I go, oh, that's a great card. I go, you should sleeve that. And they go, yeah. And then they open another pack and they put it down and go, oh, that's another good card. You should sleeve that. So yeah, well. And then finally my anxiety gets so high I start sleeving their cards for them. I can't.
Well, I'll say this much: the more I've handled cards, the more confident I am to handle them properly. Now that doesn't mean I couldn't handle.
I'm super confident in holding the card.
But I take a card out that's valuable, and I tell customers all the time. Like the guy the other day came in with a Jordan rookie and a screw down. I'm like, I need to take this out to look at it.
I do that too.
Yeah,
but here's one of the things I do is when it's in a sleeve, when I'm just kind of checking it and I'm not doing a full check, I pull it up from the sleeve. I still keep the bottom in the sleeve, so I'm touching the sleeve and not the card to look at surface.
That's smart, yeah.
And it's just like my anxiety was going through the roof. Jeff, put it in a soft sleeve, put it in a top loader, then talk about it for 40 minutes before you get to the next pack. You know, he's also a big slow player too. Like, I never had a position on Jeff Wolcyn, but it's going straight down. It's just like, I always make fun of the guys who post clips that are breakers. I'm like, wow, how slow are you gonna play this pack? You know, like let's write a novel before we show the card that we know is a hit. Like, just show me a stupid card. People do that to themselves though, so I guess might be in the minority on that one.
Oh yeah, there's guys who I know guys who once they know it's the auto pack, they set it aside.
I
keep
hate
opening.
that.
And then they let it percolate. They think it improves it. It ferments it. You know, it's
Stop.
good with. It's like wine. It's better with more
Stop
time.
percolating. Yeah, I got a customer at the father and son, and I was talking about how that drives me nuts. He goes, "Oh yeah, that's what he does." I'm like, "You're killing me, kid! Like, stop doing that."
Classic.
Oh, the other thing too, you get a box of Top Series 1, get a jumbo box with 3 silver packs. I'm like, I'm gonna leave the silver packs for the end. Why? Don't leave the silver packs to the end. Open up those damn silver packs.
I leave them for.
Oh, I hate all of you people.
I don't rip much, but
I realize I may very well be in the minority. I hate it
On that
drives
you
me
are.
nuts. Like, I want to see I've never left a parking lot without opening my packs. You think I'm gonna leave the silver packs to last?
And I know people like that because literally, it's so funny. Regularly, I try to tell our customers, "Hey, the play on this Bowman box is to buy it and keep it sealed."
Oh.
There's like they look at me like I'm speaking another language. I'm like, oh, I forget. Okay, there's people that like literally have never done that. They've never taken a box in their possession.
Oh, I've never done it.
Which right now I have
Never done it.
60 boxes in my room.
Oh my God.
Unopened that I have zero. I don't even. It's not even a thought to me. Part of it is though
Have you thought about making a display out
But
of
part
them?
of it is I play poker and I do other. Well, I'm actually thinking about buying like a glass display
Yeah,
case.
the Pokemon guys are really good at displaying their sealed wax collection.
Yeah.
That's what could get me to hold on to boxes where I'm treating the box itself as the visual collectible.
Yeah.
That's the one way I
Not
can
just the
maybe do it.
monetary.
Right, because
collectible.
now it's in the room, it's displayed. No, buying it and tucking it in the closet, I can do
But
it.
I don't really want to
open
get
it.
robbed either. You know, I mean.
Yeah, well, I mean, depends on what you have in there too.
Yeah.
You know, but like my favorite customers are the ones who like go, "Hey, can I get the box?" I'm like, "Sure," especially if they're new and I don't know them. And I ring them up and they're like, "All right, I'll see you later." I'm like, "Bye." And then 15 minutes later, like, "Hey, I need a top loader," because they obviously got to their car. Started busting.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, you can open them at the shop. I'll give you free
Yeah, that's
sleeves.
actually why I'm here, actually, so that I
I
can
get
help
free
you.
sleeves if you open in the shop. You know?
Nice.
But they're my kindred spirits because what that tells me is they didn't intend on opening it
Yeah.
in the car. Because I got a table here, I got chairs there.
Right.
They intended to drive it home and they just couldn't do it.
couldn't do
They're
it.
they're my spirit
You,
animal.
you can relate with that level of degenerate.
All right, so we were gonna start this podcast out with going through the market movers, and
Yeah.
we completely just
we
brushed right over
talked
that. Yeah.
shortly about Vlad Guerrero, and then we just
Yeah, I just went off. So
launched.
I got a game I want to play.
Okay.
I got 14 names here. It's a baseball game. So,
Okay.
and the game is it's the 14 players who have either 8 home runs or 7 home runs so far in baseball.
I love this game.
And I'm gonna go from top to bottom, so it doesn't really matter. It's just one home run separating them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to tell me whether you buy or sell. You can't be a hold. You have to either buy your position or sell your position.
Okay.
And then if you got an explanation why, that might come up a little bit. And let's do it. So you ready? I'm gonna go from.
So you're,
Well-
you're not gonna let me just guess the players, huh?
No.
Okay.
Let's make this a 7-hour slow play Jeff Wolcyn box break. Anyway, so Byron Buxton, buy or sell?
Buy.
I'm gonna buy it too. The value is incredibly low.
They're still low. They're
But
going
what
up,
do you-
but they're still low.
Yeah.
I went.
Evan?
Hey, by the way. Oh, sorry, Evan.
Sell?
Evan says so.
Right now? Like, by the way, the game is today. You selling because he's gonna get hurt?
I mean, yeah.
Is the injury is the problem? It's just
Maybe
that-
like half and half. You know?
no, you can't. You gotta buy or sell. Sell. Wow. Okay, so Evan's on sell because of injury risk. I'm buy.
Well, I also have so many that I'm into for nothing that it's.
Okay, fair enough. Position.
That's the part of it.
I went back to my box at the shop,
Yeah.
and for a whole month, anyone could have came in and got Byron Buxton at an absolute steal.
Yeah,
I
50
went
cents.
repriced everything; it was all double. or
All that
triple.
like 20. What's that prospect year of Bowman Chrome? Like not the first 14.
I had
Yeah, those are only 50 cents.
I had one on the wall. I had a black refractor to
Yeah.
75 for like $5.
Yeah, right.
I think it's like 30 now.
Right. All right. So here I'm gonna keep track of this. 2-1. All right. Ryan I can never say that.
Mountcastle?
Mahan?
McMahon?
He's a Rockies outfielder. He's a guy I really like. I've been following him for 3 years.
How old is he?
I don't know. I want to say he was like
He was a rookie in 18.
Yeah, but he's a prospect for a while. I've been following him for
I
a while.
don't remember his Bowman first. It
But
must have been like
Coors
2015.
Field, you give him that. What year?
2017.
2017.
Oh.
Drafted?
Year.
Oh, no. Rookie card, yeah. It's like 14 drafted.
Hard
maybe.
sell.
Hard sell with him being in Coors Field?
2013 draft.
John, when was the last Rockies player that's been
No,
selected?
that's what I'm kind of. By the way, I don't have my position here.
Arenado barely.
Yeah.
And then before that, no one.
That's actually
Vinny
a really good
Castilla?
argument. Arenado does not sell.
No, he doesn't sell that well.
Yeah,
So that's actually more. I'm not. When I say buy or sell, I'm not necessarily talking about the player's like value as a baseball player. I'm talking about.
no,
the
card, that's
card
what we're
value.
talking
Yeah,
about. That's the
yeah,
game. We're, believe it or not, this is a card.
Okay.
This is a sports
No, but
card
I'm saying
podcast.
like when I'm saying sell, the guy might end up being a Hall of Famer. I'm
Right,
not
but-
saying he's not.
But
gonna
I think
be
you're
good,
making a
yeah,
great
yeah.
point. Arenado doesn't sell, and he is a potential Hall of Famer.
Right.
Yeah, if there's a bump, sell.
Yeah.
I'm with you. What do you think? Yeah, so 3-0 sell. No, 0-3.
As the saying goes, buy the dip, sell the rip. selling the rip.
Reese Hoskins, you brought him up. Reese Hoskins. I think that was before we started on air.
No, we talked about him on here. About,
we?
yeah,
About a
yeah,
customer.
Phillies, yeah.
Yeah.
Just he's hitting well. I mean, I would say buy.
A buy,
Mm-hmm.
Evan.
Yeah, probably. I feel like he's so low. Anyways,
Yeah.
right?
There's not.
I think I'm a sell. I don't like him in general. I think he's going to be a common by next year.
common.
So if he's got a bump, I'm moving my position
Might
from him.
bump again.
No, fair enough,
All-star
but
or, whatever.
yeah, I mean,
He's so cheap.
I just don't think he's not wrong. He is cheap, but I think the fact that he's just selling. So before he was cheap and wouldn't sell, now maybe
Now,
he's going
I'll
to
say
sell
this
and it's
much.
cheap.
Can I put a caveat? If at the All-Star break,
Yeah.
Reese Hoskins is leading the league in home runs,
Oh, true.
now I sell him.
But it's right now.
Yeah, no.
You got to make a decision right now.
Oh, I'm buying now.
So 2-1 on that one. Ronald Acuna. I think it's probably relatively easy,
Sell.
right?
He's
Sell?
just so high. It's so high.
I'd almost be a buy still. Because he did have that dip from last year. He wasn't getting.
That's not gonna happen again.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This might be the lowest he is for the rest of his career.
Can I tell a fun story? It'll take 1 second. All of 1 minute.
Yeah.
2017, we had Bowman on the shelf. Customer came in and ripped the first box of the day. Just
Yeah.
came off the truck. Pulled I'd never heard of these guys. I don't know any of the prospects. A Ronald Acuna Bowman Chrome Orange Auto
Wow.
to 25. And I asked him the next day. He's like, "Oh, this is one of the best
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
This is one of the guys." I'm like, "Who's it? Huh? What? Huh?"
Yeah, if you're not a baseball guy, you just
I don't.
know.
I mean, I don't know going into. I figure it out later or whatever. He sells it that night for $800 raw.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last sale was 40,000.
Wow.
So that was my first experience with like Bowman. Like,
Being
like,
monster
I'm
stuff.
like,
of guys who haven't had an at-bat yet.
and I thought 800. I'm like, yeah, I would have sold it for 800. But whoops.
No, but I think because last year didn't get much. Freddie Freeman was having a great year, certain season. We didn't get much hype on Acuna. This might be the cheapest you can buy Acuna. I think I'm a buy.
No, off season would have been way better.
No, fair enough. But you get what I'm saying.
Yes,
like
yes,
from the previous year when
Yep.
he was at an all-time high.
I like selling these really high spots because I think even if you look at a player's season, even within 165 game season,
Might have two or
you're gonna have a couple. He's gonna have a cold month. I
Yeah.
think that's a better buy than right now.
So you're
'cause he's-
saying sell and then buy on the.
Yeah, I'm saying within a season, I could
bump.
be buying
On
and
the second
selling
bump.
multiple times. Yep.
Okay.
And I'm actually doing that with cryptocurrency. I'm buying and selling all the time.
So are you buy or sell, Evan?
Probably sell too. Yeah.
All right, 1-2. Nelson Cruz.
That's a weird one. He doesn't have.
I mean, for me, it's a sell. I mean, I just don't see him.
He could be a Hall of Famer. I don't know.
Oh, no, I think he
But,
will
yeah.
be. I would sell. I mean, I'd buy a year out from ceremony, maybe. He
Yeah.
doesn't really sell for much either, but
He's so late in his career that there's no more hype to be had. It's like
right.
we're at the tail end of
So
like.
if you can move him.
Oh, yeah, if you can sell him, sell him.
What do you think? All right,
303
0-3.
sell.
Here's a good name. Eduardo Escobar,
the old
former
twin.
twin. Really
Arizona
good player.
Diamondbacks?
Nobody ever knows.
Is it Diamondbacks?
Yeah.
He's still there. Yep.
So he didn't sell in Minnesota. He had a great season.
I was
last
so
year and the year
disappointed that we
before.
let him go. He
Yeah.
was our best hitter at the time.
And he's still playing well for the Diamondbacks. I don't even know if you can sell him.
No one was buying him.
Like, he's not worth anything.
Nope.
He's having another good season.
Yep.
So, but you have to take. So we have to take buy.
Yeah, buys the
So
position.
we have to
'cause
buy. I'll buy one. I'll buy. I mean, maybe Escobar is like a great buy. How old is he? He might be 30 though. He might be 30, 31. So sell if you can, but you might
If
have
he goes
to buy.
to the Yankees, oh baby.
Well,
Yeah,
that
you
could
hit the-
happen.
That's what you hit the jackpot. Is somebody
could see a
late
trade.
position trade or late.
That would be like a
late season.
DJ LeMahieu going to the Yankees.
Yeah,
That helped him a
LeMahieu,
lot.
great
LeMahieu.
example. Colorado doesn't do anything
Right.
for selling, and then now he's been the same player. He won a batting title in the NL and now the
Better
AL.
in the Rockies.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so fair enough. Hard buy then, because
Yeah.
hopefully he goes to a contender.
That's your best hope. Yep, hard buy.
3-0 on that. Here's another interesting name. JD Martinez just keeps raking. He's 31, 32, I think. He's older than
He's like
32.
34. He's like 34.
34.
Yeah, he's like just barely younger than Freddie Freeman.
And the thing with him is he started so late, so he has no career numbers. 33.
So
I'm a year off. Not too bad for off the top of my head. Sell.
I just
He
sold.
can never-
I just
he
sold
can
an
never-
autograph of him, a Prism auto,
Yeah.
for like $25. I'm like, that is such
Not
a
much of
good.
a sell.
That's a great buy, but I mean, it's.
And he's playing for the Red Sox right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Red Sox get a bounce back, maybe buy. I'm still selling.
selling him.
Yeah. So 03. Here's the guy I've been following since he got drafted, because when I read the scouting report, he basically read like Joe Mauer as a hitter. Nick Castellanos. Reds. He used to be a Tiger. Got drafted by the Tigers.
Wasn't he with the Orioles at one point or no?
No.
Thinking of.
I
Oh,
think
I'm
with
thinking of
Tigers,
Mark.
Reds.
I'm thinking of Nick Markakis. I think.
Okay.
Wow,
Ooh, I made a
that's-
sale.
That's aggressive.
Very nice. So he's older now too. He's 2010. He was on USA team, I think.
all these people are on weird teams.
Yeah, and then it's Reds, but he had a great season last year and a great 2019. I'm Sal too.
Yep,
He's just
Sal.
too old. He's never really going to be a Hall of Fame type. So we're 0-3 on that one.
Yep.
Wilson Contreras. Now, we talked about Salvatore Perez last week. He's still on the same team. He got drafted. By the way, I got him on my fantasy team. I got him and Salvatore Perez on my fantasy team. He's a catcher.
I should have
But
known last
the
week.
Yachty,
Hey,
you know, the thing I was talking
I
about.
should have
Perez.
known with your love for Perez that he was on your team last year. I could actually see the twinkle in your eye. He was on your
The
fantasy team.
twinkle in my eye.
John was so
No, but
giddy about
but here's
Salvador
another
Perez.
one team guy, maybe a Yachty. He doesn't sell for anything, like nothing. So even if he sold right now, like what are you gonna get?
That's like I tell these guys with like Bowman. Most of the Bowman guys, except for the hype guys,
Yeah.
there's no point in selling because you're getting nothing for them. And
You just
they
wait for the pop.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna buy. If I had to, I don't know if I would participate.
you like
but-
buying catchers? Wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm a hard selling all catchers except the ones
Except
that
for the
have
one-
a career. Once they have a career, then fair enough.
Johnny Bench, I'm still.
I
a buy.
think I'm a buy on Contreras just because on account of him not selling for anything.
Right.
So maybe buy a few more. Maybe becomes like the catcher, like Chicago, whatever. I don't know.
Well, he's in a good market for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, he has that
And he's
going
never
for him
changed team.
above Perez.
Right.
Perez is in a smaller market.
Yeah, absolutely. But does have a World Series too.
Yep, they both have one.
Are you guys are both sell
Yeah.
if you can
Or
If
giveaway.
you can sell.
Giveaway.
Giveaway.
Is that a
Wow,
another-
you're giveaway. Not even
just
throwing
like,
the trash.
just a
Here,
giveaway pile. No, give it to a kid. Here's
Take,
Wilson
take this
Contreras.
crap off
Deal.
my hand. Fran Reyes, I don't know a lot about.
Indians came from the. He was like supposed to be really good, and then he just never.
Well, not never. He's doing it right
I mean,
now.
I do
He's got-
remember his cards, his rookie cards and stuff. But
I have one. I
yeah.
went into my stash. 2019 update.
By the way, we didn't even talk about it yet, but
2020
hey,
update?
note to
Is he
self,
old?
John. We need to talk about Corbin Burns. That guy's blazing.
Yeah, I've already sold my Corbin Burns stash.
Okay. I can't believe that. I can't. I gotta go find some.
All right, we got 4 more, and then we'll go
Reyes is
Corbin
25.
Burns.
Okay, I guess I'm wrong.
Corbin. Oh, okay. Still young. I don't know. Sal, I was looking for cards to sell this morning, so that's a pretty easy one.
Easy,
You
yeah.
know,
You're like,
I
I'm actually doing
I had
it.
one
Yeah.
rookie. like I.
I'm
By the way, his
actually
update rookie was like $3, $4. So
Wow.
you know, if you had a stack of 10 of them, I'd sell that for $40.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we all selling him.
Yep.
All right, Vladimir Guerrero. I'm a buy. Even though I did sell 2 today, I'm selling everything. So this is more theoretical because with the new card shop, I can't hold.
Well, let me
everything.
say this: I could simultaneously be selling a guy like Vlad
And acquiring.
because I'm selling stuff that I'm selling at a margin that I'm profitable,
that's
and
not the
I'm
game.
buying. No, I know. I'm putting a little asterisk. So yes, I'm a buy.
I'm a buy in spirit
Yeah.
for sure
Yeah.
on Vlad.
Yeah.
I think because of that depression last year,
Do you think Toronto can actually be a contender?
I put $40 on them to win the World Series.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah,
So your money is where your mouth is. On
Oh
that.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so I believe you.
Well, the reason why I did it because I went to.
But their pitching staff is average.
Right, but I went to the future. That's not why I bet on them. I didn't bet on them
okay.
because I'm a big believer in Blue Jays.
Okay.
I bet on them because I only bet dogs, and they were the only team that had a shot that had good odds. So they were like
They were
plus
the best
2,200,
value. Yep.
which is really good return. Everybody else was complete.
I mean, the
Well, a
Twins,
real dog.
dude. You have worse odds, which
Right.
means it's better when you're with a
Right,
dog.
but it was a solid team.
But I'm saying
Yeah.
that they're probably a better team than the Twins, but the Twins were not paying that much.
No,
prior
Twins
season.
were like
plus
800,
1,400 or
1,400.
or
Yeah.
12, yeah. Yeah,
So
now they're.
Oh yeah, now I might bet the Twins. I might make a trip.
By the
down
way,
to
I was
Iowa.
gonna tell you, Iowa. They sent me. I have free hotel rooms. I got
Dude,
$30 and free
Let's go
vouchers
down
for food.
there,
We should go.
and I'll put $100 on the Twins to win the
Dude,
World Series.
we should go to Iowa for some of the basketball
Plus-
finals.
plus 2,800.
Okay, go for the finals.
Right? I wonder what Twins are at right now. Only if they're good. So are we 3-0 Vlad?
Yeah, I think so.
3-0 Fernando Tatis Jr., who everybody thought was going to hit the DL and then came back started hitting home runs.
We were all worried about his shoulder, and he's like, "Yeah, I've hit
Yeah.
how many since he come back?
What?
He's hit like 6 or 7 homers since he came back.
5 in a week last week.
Wow.
5 in a week.
I didn't realize there was that many. I saw him hit like 2.
He had 3 in a game.
But I'm a sell. I mean, he's selling so high. I
Yeah.
mean, $50 for a top rookie. I'm a
sell.
sell.
Anytime there's
He's too high.
there's certain there's certain players at certain times where like
You can't acquire.
Jordan last summer, I sold
Yeah.
some.
Twins,
I held some, but
Twins
Yeah.
are plus 1,800 now.
Ooh, that's not a bad bet at all. And not as good as the Blue Jays what they were.
and the Blue Jays now are probably like plus.
200.
They're still
Oh, they
20.
still
haven't
are. I would've
changed.
thought they would've gone.
Interesting. But yeah, sell. What do you think, Evan? Your sell?
Tatis, yeah.
Yeah. So believe it or not, we're 3-0 and buying Vlad, but we're 0-3. We're selling Tatis, even though Tatis, and that part of that is because Tatis sells so much higher than Vlad.
It's like looking at
That's too much money.
Ethereum at 2,700 versus Bitcoin at 54,000.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm gonna buy.
You buy Ethereum.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy the value.
Ooh, here's a good one. Ohtani.
So
I'm buying Ohtani. He's way depressed from 2 years of.
no, he's not. I had a customer who just told me he listed a rookie orange or something, and he he had it listed, and he was getting like a few $100 offers.
Yeah.
He goes, I have a $1,400 offer in my inbox on eBay right now. I'm like, well, I'd sell it for that. It was like
Yeah, but he had it
rookie.
priced as of 3 months ago, 6 months ago, whenever he acquired it. Not in 2018.
No, he's had it since then. He ripped it, I think.
Okay, what do you think you would have priced it for in 2018?
Oh, I think it would have been half that.
Really? You think
Yeah.
it's up from
Well,
2018?
we had a customer pull a finest Ohtani red auto.
Okay.
They got a 9.5, 10. We had it at the National in Cleveland, and we had like 5,000 on it. Didn't get any offers. Customer came back. He auctioned it. It went for 1,000.
Okay.
That card's worth 10 now or 20. So he's bounced.
Maybe I
back.
just don't
Well, I'll say this much.
realize how
Okay,
high the
so-
market is on him now.
So here's the deal. His market was high right at the beginning. Then he got hurt, and it took such a hit. Now we're
but you
literally.
say it's gone past 2018?
Yes, it's gone 2 times
I
past.
had
think.
no idea.
Oh yeah.
I had no idea. I thought he was still relatively depressed.
No, I think he's actually talking about pitchers. He's by far the best-selling pitcher currently, right? DeGrom's better.
Oh, yeah.
Guess,
DeGrom.
Guess Tatis' number of sales in last week, dollar amount.
Million.
All right, interesting. Yeah, I guess I'm a...
100,000. That's
a lot.
still a lot.
That's a
Average
lot.
sales 280.
Okay.
Per
I
Tatis
think
card.
I'm going to be a sell. I'll go with you guys with new information, which is part of the reason why we have this game, right? It's like, I didn't
By
know
the
that.
way, I'm sick thinking about this right now. I can picture myself at the. Did you ever go to the Lutheran Church card show that Rob used to host?
Yeah, I did a couple times.
But it's like King of something or whatever it was.
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I remember standing at this guy's table. He had a Bowman First Chrome Tatis Auto. It was like a blue 9.5.
Mm-hmm.
He had like 500 on it, and I went back and forth with him on it, and I wanted it for like 400.
You only want 100 off, yeah. What is that?
And I just never sealed the deal. And I'm like,
I don't have a lot of stories like that.
That one though, like I remember thinking this was like, what is it? A year and a half after his rookie is 16, so this was probably like 18.
His first, yeah.
His first.
Yeah.
What was it again?
It was a Bowman Chrome first. Blue auto. 9.5.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, he wasn't that big of a deal.
I mean, back then a $500 card was a huge card.
Oh,
Like,
no,
I mean,
absolutely.
there weren't
But
even like you couldn't even.
Tatis wasn't a monster.
No, I mean he was.
Not
There
even
was a
as a
lot. There was a
prospect.
lot of hype. There was beginning to be some excitement.
Right, but he
around
wasn't
him.
a number one prospect. He wasn't wanted. He wasn't Vlad.
I
He
know.
wasn't, you know. So, last guy, and I already know mine. It's going to be a hard sell because I.
25.
Yeah. What's it? Is it you got a count for me?
I have some listed.
What were they listed at?
30.
30,000 for that blue.
This one sold.
Come
Over
on, Clint,
$100.
open up the
Just
wallet and
pull it-
pay, give him
I
his
didn't.
100
I didn't have the
bucks.
money at that time.
The
Like to,
last two,
you know.
16,000 and
Jesus.
17.
Jeez.
April 25th.
Last guy, I know I'm a hard sell because I sold him today. Nick Solak.
Yeah.
I had an auto rookie. And
Solak, we sold some today. We shipped them. I'm like,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I'm like, glad we can sell him. He hit some home runs.
he's
Good.
not
Okay.
he's not a good prospect. So if you sell him if you got him.
If you
know.
got him, sell him for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, I love this time of baseball because there's a whole bunch of cards
Yeah.
that we've had listed forever that are actually selling. I
They're
listed
done.
them for them to get a bump to
Well,
sell.
no, I
That
had
was
him.
the
I had
point,
him in the
yeah.
stash box. I had an auto. I had 8 other base cards. I priced them for what the auto was going for. So you got 8 extra rookie cards.
Wow.
So I got
Yeah.
high end on the
Uh-huh.
auto, but like it's like $30. Like
Right.
I'll do it. Evan, Select.
I kind of like him, honestly.
No, Evan kind of likes them. So Evan's wrong,
Why?
and
Evan's buying. I'm selling Evan. I'll sell him.
no, he's cheap. I
They're
mean,
like $10
Top
autos.
Chrome RC auto is $25.
Still have potential to go up.
Very cool. Well, that was my.
And here's
my
what we're
parlay
looking
game.
at, like to compare this to like investing in stocks. Like, there's certain times where the price of a penny stock is so cheap that the chance that if you buy 10 of them and one of them pops is profitable.
Well, that's
versus
what the stash box.
versus what we're talking about with like Vlad. Vlad is more like a mature stock where there's still some value.
It's called a growth stock.
Yep.
I would
Whereas
consider that.
Acuna is like a blue chip already
Yeah.
established. You know, it's like, so where do you want to
So I
target?
got a question then. I know we asked this before. Let's do an update after Acuna's raking.
Yep.
Acuna Soto. Soto. I'm still on Soto.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know why that keeps not changing.
So
still
here's the
Soto
one
over
thing about
Acuna.
Soto that I'll hold against him. The photo and his Bowman First, he looks so weird. Do you know what
No,
I'm
I
talking about?
don't know.
He is so skinny and awkward looking. It's
Oh, well,
it's
he's
a really
16,
it's a
probably.
really awkward photo though. I'm like, this is
have
the
to look
first
that
time
up.
where a photo of a card actually
Soto.
bothers. I'm like,
This is Bowman
it
first.
does it literally. Here, I'll show you a picture of it, John. You won't even believe it's him, John. Oh, you got to go back.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
It was the baddest
And,
helmet
well,
on?
the helmet's it's just like the weird. I'm like, whoever decided that.
He doesn't look like a monster.
Look at his face. You know, yeah, no.
Well, he literally was in high school.
There's very few times where I'm like, that was a bad choice of a photo. On that one, I'm like, it doesn't. You know.
Well, it's not as bad as the Curry
His
Tops
first,
regular.
His first, though, are only autos. He doesn't
Yeah,
have
he doesn't have a paper. Yep.
Oh,
Only has
wow.
autos.
Does that paper a regular chrome?
Yep.
Does he have a regular chrome, though? No? Wow.
Just
Only
his
auto.
next year sell. That's his first.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that Garnett Finest. There's no refractor.
Yeah.
It's,
Yep.
just a
There's
base
only a
card.
base. Yep.
Oh, by the way, I do want to bring one other thing about Jeff Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Wilson said pack fresh like 11 times in 20 minutes. Like, my hatred for this man is growing.
Wow.
Like,
But
low
your
pack fresh.
but your respect for what he's doing for the hobby is still high.
I don't know.
I
Pack
don't-
fresh kind of ruins everything.
I usually don't. Yeah, I respect.
Because he literally made the claim.
So you want to get him on here and have him listen
No,
to us by bash?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm just going to rip on him. Like, come on, Jeff. Because he
Come on,
literally
Jeff.
said while he opened it, he goes, this isn't a bad Kobe. This is a pack fresh Kobe. Just get, who cares?
No, there is a difference between being in a pack versus being in a penny sleeve
No,
in
there
a box.
isn't.
Yeah, there's. Oh, there's
No,
way.
there isn't. You can get a brand new card out of a pack that's 90-10. What are you talking about?
No, but he's saying we're talking about the fact that card was it the back card or the front card or was it middle?
I don't know.
If it's the
Oh,
middle
it's
card,
second
it's
card, maybe.
way better protected than your average
I'm
card.
not saying it's not. What I'm saying is,
Circulation.
I've seen some crazy
Circulation.
ass janky cards.
Yes,
come
but
out
what
of
he's
packs. It
do
means
you,
nothing.
John? Let me decipher and interpret what pack fresh means. It means uncirculated, just like what Evan said, which actually is preserving some parts of the
Oh my
condition
God,
of the
that's
card.
not true. The way he was molesting it after it came out
Well,
of the
it
pack.
wasn't fresh after that. It was immediately.
It's very tarnished at this
Oh,
point.
it's no longer
It
a
is-
virgin card.
That
Absolutely.
that
No,
Kobe
it's-
is taking a walk of shame to that owner.
No, that card is.
He got that card got felt up like you wouldn't believe. Like 10 minutes before he leaves it. It was crazy.
Market movers.
So Jeff, come on the show and I'll fight you over Pack Fresh. Yeah, let's do some market movies.
DeGrom, number one.
Number one.
And what's interesting is I had multiple customers who obviously were aware of that, or were
Yeah.
tracking this, who came in asking about DeGrom, and sold an auto this week, which I don't remember the last time I sold a DeGrom. We have a couple others
Yeah.
listed, so that I haven't been watching any
I had
of
a
his
Mets
outings,
collector that
but
I was selling too.
15
he's
strikeouts with 2 hits.
Yeah, he's just
actually Max. What up,
crushing.
Max? Came in the store. He's a kid that works there, and he's like, "Pull you to ground." He goes in my to be listed box. Here you go, sell them. And I had like 2 chrome rookies and 3 papers and a bunch of
Nice.
other ones and some
Nice.
nice ones. And I listed them. And I sold like a $5 one like an hour later.
nice.
So that was a good heads up.
I remember
play by
back
Max.
in the day we bought a collection with a bunch of 14 update, and I had literally almost every color parallel of DeGrom. I had a gold, multiple red foils. I had the photo variation, and we graded them all. And a lot of them graded 10s. And I remember selling them back in the day and being like, "Oh, these are $100 cards." Like
right.
that was awesome. And I'd be curious to see what do we see
what's
for price.
interesting about DeGrom,
What's a PSA 10 update?
what's interesting about DeGrom is when I went to his baseball reference just to look, he's won 2 Cy Young.
32.
Wow, that was a
$732.
$100 card when we graded it.
Wow.
Now it's $700.
Yeah, but you sold Kobe 10s for 100 too.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, the chromes are 1,200.
Wow.
The
Yeah, we had both.
Wow.
We had both chrome and paper.
Number 2,
Kemba Walker. That makes sense.
Kemba Walker. But you said there weren't very many sales on that one.
Yeah, that's probably one of those ones where it was like $1.
Couple sales
Okay.
triggered the whole thing
Okay.
versus quantity.
Number 3, we won't worry about Kemba.
Billy Gilmore, soccer player, who's 19 years old.
Okay, pass.
Young soccer.
Soccer,
Okay.
I don't know what
He
to tell you.
signed with Chelsea when he was 15.
I have no context.
Jose
for this.
Ramirez, 4.
Wow,
Okay, he's
Cleveland.
another guy like JD Martinez, so maybe we should be buying.
Jose Ramirez has
That's his team.
he has the skill. He doesn't have the team in the market.
Well, the
That's
thing
what he
is,
doesn't have.
Jose Martinez and JD Martinez are literally the same guy.
They're
They
actually
rake
brothers.
And nobody knows.
They're brothers, right? I'm just kidding.
No.
I
But
know,
no, but
I'm
like
joking.
they rake and nobody notices.
Yeah, I know.
And so apparently they're noticing on Jose.
Well, and there's actually another dozen or so guys I would say that are very similar to those guys in raking
Yeah.
and not knowing. You know, I
And,
mean,
and so maybe they do get noticed once in a while. How many sales?
17.
Yeah, okay, so not a lot of
I
volume,
sent
so
a
maybe
couple
not.
PSA 10s to auction of him.
Okay.
Heritage rookies.
All right, next one.
Yager.
Yamir Yager. The guy's still
Yeah.
playing overseas, I believe.
Fair enough.
I mean,
He might go to the Hall of Fame.
he's a monster.
Yeah, well, he's going.
Oh, he
Hall of
will.
Fame. He's going.
But this might be the year of induction.
Oh, okay.
That's what
I
it means.
thought you like he might go to the Hall of Fame. I'm like, wait, was that ever up for questions? Like, Hank Aaron might get in. Like, what happened?
Dwight Howard.
Dwight,
So weird.
Dwight Howard. I had a guy
think of a reason why.
this week tell me that he thought Dwight Howard was going to go in the Hall of Fame, and I laughed.
He will.
What? You think that?
Longevity wise, career numbers. maybe.
No.
Yes,
No.
I mean, I'm not arguing he should necessarily.
he will. Why not?
Because he's a Laker?
No. Why,
No.
Why would he not? I don't.
Because he's been
What's your
Average forever.
very average for 10
like
years.
the last 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, he was really good for like 4. Steve, what up, Steve? Steve always comes up.
What up,
Steve
Steve?
was a big Dwight Howard early investor. But
I'm sorry, Steve.
he's been really pedestrian for like a decade.
Yeah, it's been a while.
The longevity of what? Nothing? Average?
2017, he averaged 17 and 10.
Wow, that's not a big deal. So,
I mean-
not for a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but I mean, his career.
I mean, I would argue, like, even if you said he was like 12 and 15, I put a lot of value in rebounds. Like I'll be like 15. Wow. I mean, I'll give him that, but
16 and 12 career. I mean, he went to the
yeah, that's
finals.
not a hot. That's
I mean,
I bet you compare his career numbers with Christian Leitner, and it's probably not that far off. We're gonna bring this
No,
up.
he's
next
closer to Alonzo Mourning than Christian Leitner, but he's
Dwight Howard. No,
Yeah.
Mourning was much better.
no, he was, but
he was
he's
an all-star for 9 straight
he's like an Alonzo Mourning. That's his
Yeah, but the
comparable.
All-Star thing
Well, no, but you're saying
was-
he was only good for 4 years.
No, but the All-Star. No, that's what I'm saying. The All-Star thing was he comes out, he plays really well for right away, and then now it's a popularity contest for a few years.
Sure.
So he's probably got 3 All-Stars where it's just a name. He's just a brand name.
Yeah.
I'll have to look at his numbers. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I am. Not based on 16 and what was it? 16 and 12.
3 blocks. I mean,
Yeah.
I
Yuck. All right, next guy.
you don't think? No.
Hard sell, Clint.
I think he's on the edge. I think Joe Mauer's closer to going in the Baseball
Marvin
Hall of
Bagley
Fame.
the third.
Yeah.
He's hurt though still. He was out. Fox was out too.
But he's another. I'm a cheap guy, but he
Yep.
had some.
Yep.
He's had a few times where he was kind
The
of.
basketball season is very interesting right now because the biggest names are a lot of them are hurt.
No.
LeBron's still out. Obviously Durant's been on and off. He got hurt again,
Are
and he
some
came
of
back and
them-
scored
Are they,
33.
some of
and
them maybe hurt.
and then
quotation
and then
marks.
Harden is hurt. Yeah, how much of it is them
They're resting.
resting? I mean, the NBA playoffs will tell you who's actually hurt because no
Right.
one's gonna actually miss that if they're
Right.
not.
Or even like if they're out like
If you
if
want,
they're the 5
if you
seed, they're
want,
trying to get home field.
if you want a little
court.
insider trading secret, I would go buy Klay Thompson right now.
Klay Thompson.
Yep.
I have a
Because when he comes back with Curry next year and Wiseman's healthy and they have another basically lottery pick, they could easily be in the
do
finals
you
next
think has Klay Thompson ever been a good seller though?
year.
At any point, even when he was at top.
No, not to
I don't know if he
Curry's
ever
level. No,
sold.
not to Curry's level, but I think because he's connected to Curry.
Did he sell?
Yes.
He
He
did?
sells.
Oh, he
yeah,
did?
Yeah.
He's always on TV.
Yeah, I mean, he sells. Yes, he sells.
People talk about him a lot. I didn't know if
he
he
sells.
sold.
No, he sells.
Because I wasn't really doing
Well,
a lot
part
of
of it is
basketball
understand this. His rookie is the first year of Prism, too, which
Okay.
actually is in his favor, meaning because Curry doesn't
Was that
have
12?
a Prism Silver. 12.
12.
And so he's in. That's a really good class. Obviously, Lillard and Anthony Davis and all those guys are in the first year.
I always figured he was like good. People
He's
liked him more than he was, but
No.
then a lot of people say like he's better than
No.
Ray Allen and Paul Pierce.
yes,
I'm like, whoa.
yes. Clay. I'll take Klay Thompson as a shooter above anyone on the planet right now, not named Steph Curry or Kevin Durant.
How much better? No, I'm not a basketball
No,
fan, so
yeah.
I'm not gonna. I don't know. It seems weird to me, but you think how much better than Ray Allen and
Oh,
Paul
yeah,
Pierce?
he's
is?
better than both of them. A lot better. I
Significantly?
mean, Paul Pierce for sure. Oh, okay. I'll tell you. I'll say it this way. They showed a stat the other day.
Okay.
NBA players with games of 10 made threes or more
Okay.
in their career. Steph Curry's number 1 with 20 of those games. Clay's number 2 with 5. Ray Allen's got like 2 in his whole career. So
5.
literally, Clay's still playing. He's got 5. I mean, that tells you how much Curry is better
Well,
than
yeah, I
all
was
of
gonna
them.
say that's
Yeah.
really a stat
It's
about Curry, not about Klay Thompson.
but it's saying Clay is basically number 2, and the fact that he's overshadowed by his own teammate is
Right.
only.
So he's Pippen.
He's Pippen, but he's better than Pippen. He's better than Scottie Pippen.
Who's
Clay Thompson's got had
people
a.
say the top 50 all time.
So is Clay. Clay very well.
I
could
did
be.
get a Galactic.
I don't know, and I don't know if you understand, but Clay is literally a top 5 two-way player. He's one of the best defensive
Oh,
players.
wow.
Like he's as good defensively as like Kawhi Leonard and like
I've
Giannis.
never dug down
And,
in them.
yeah,
Better percentage.
he shoots a better percentage than Ray. Oh yeah,
Very interesting. All right.
yeah. Clay's a
All
monster.
right, Klay Thompson.
And so right now, the
yeah,
Warriors.
he's himself for nothing.
No, you could buy him he's been hurt for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
So people forget. It's what have you done
So,
for me lately?
but that's a short-term play, not a long-term play, because the 2 years out might hurt his career numbers, might not get in the Hall of Fame.
No, I think he's in the Hall of Fame right now, even almost.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think he's
Wow.
borderline on.
You guys are way up on Klay Thompson.
He had 38 points in 1 quarter. 1 quarter. That's more than Wilt Chamberlain had in his 100-point quarter, I think, in any quarter of that game.
Oh, I did make a big sale on Miles Bridges.
Yes.
He's been playing well. He had
He
a
had
big
that big
dunk.
dunk. That big dunk
And
was huge.
then I just
He's
sold a
on.
bunch.
He's his Prism Silver, I think, was the number 2
I sold a
selling
couple
card.
Prism base today.
Yep.
I don't know how much.
Wow, 177 sales of him.
Okay. Yeah, so there's a lot of activity.
Yep.
Next guy.
Nick Bosa is after bag.
Nick Bosa. Okay.
Coming back. I
No
mean, it's weird for a
trade,
defensive player.
defense. Off season, draft is happening.
The draft Thursday is a
No,
big
right,
deal.
but Nick Bosa.
Yeah, but
draft,
you
I
know
don't
what?
know.
And you know what else though? You know what Thursday marks really?
How
It
many
really,
failed on Nick Bosa?
19.
Okay,
It,
that's
it
another
actually
low level.
marks the beginning of the football season.
Oh, absolutely.
Like we're out of the lull now. The draft will like basically
Yeah.
steady up until training camp into the.
And really, the national football really got.
Oh
get
man,
pumping.
I honestly don't get excited for the opening day. Baseball's fine, but it's such a long season.
Yeah.
Football has a different
Yeah. No,
intensity.
I agree
There's
with
so
that.
many less games.
I'm a baseball guy. I agree
Yeah.
with that wholeheartedly.
I mean, they break down the draft more than they spend time talking about almost any other sport. Like we spend more time in the NFL draft. Yeah, basketball.
Yeah. Basketball's actually a big.
But the basketball draft, like you have teams hosting these huge parties of people coming to watch the draft.
Right,
Like
right.
I've never watched the T-Wolves.
No, like Max goes, I'm gonna come in the shop tomorrow probably. Like, oh, you want to work? Goes, no, I just want to watch draft. Like, heck yeah, let's do it.
Let's go.
Because Max is really smart about football. Like,
Yeah.
he brings up players I have no idea about.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that says something about me, but
Well, I'll say this much: we won't extrapolate what that means. But I think the draft is going to be a good one for sports cards specifically this year
Yeah.
because you have 5
All
quarterbacks
quarterbacks.
that all could make an impact, and you have the Heisman Trophy winner as a receiver, and then you have. I don't even
The
know this,
guy
but
who
is
didn't
going ahead of
play,
him who didn't
right.
play. So literally, you got a lot of skill position
no, I
guys.
got something that Max is really hot on Jonathan Taylor. What's your opinion on him for
Colts.
next
I think he's a buy.
year?
They have. Here's about the
think so,
Colts.
too.
Here's why they have the best offensive line in football.
And I think Pittman's a good buy, too. I
Mm-hmm.
think both of them. I think the Colts are going to do pretty good next year.
How about the fact that
and then
Teddy-
Wentz is the quarterback.
Yeah, Wentz.
Yeah,
How about
Wentz.
the fact that they cut ties with Bridgewater already in Carolina,
Yeah.
Today.
So he's Broncos.
which is very interesting that they are that high on Darnold that they're
Well,
just giving him the job.
They signed Darnold to a big contract, too.
But you'd think like having a good backup like Bridgewater.
Well, yeah, but
So what does
like,
that say about Drew Lock in Denver? Does it
What does
say
that say about Teddy Bridgewater that you're going to take Darnold over Bridgewater? That's the part I don't understand.
he didn't have a great year? I mean,
Yeah, but Darnold did. I mean,
Well, I think they're
The
thinking
Jets.
Darnold had less. He didn't have Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
know.
there's some weapons in Carolina. So
Peyton
I-
Pritchard is number 9.
and then who?
Peyton Pritchard.
Peyton Pritchard, yeah.
80 sales,
absolute
so he's pretty.
shooter. The guy,
Yeah,
if
a
you
lot of
he
people
looks
have
the
been talking
part.
about
He
him.
was the player of the year in the Pac-12. Played for Oregon. The guy can shoot. I saw him hit a 3 the other night. Like he's like Curry range. He's at like the logo. And the
wow.
guy, he reminds me of a little bit. He's like a Curry Luka combo. He can shoot like Curry, but he's got the movement of
Oh, come on.
Luka.
Don't treat him so badly.
Yeah, no, but
Like-
I'm saying this. He doesn't.
Curry, Luka
Yeah, but
combo.
no, but he doesn't move like Curry. Like he's a little bit. I don't want to say slower, but he reminds me of like a European style like player.
So he's like got the power of Shaq and the
No.
handle of Jason Williams
something
and
like that. Yeah, 42% from me. The
no,
guy
I've
can shoot.
been hearing his name for 6 weeks now.
And he's on a team, Boston, who is going to be in the playoffs. And a guy like him, one big shot in the playoffs,
Yeah, could be.
catapult him to
Well, Hero,
a game winner, right?
Hero had
Yep.
that in the playoffs. He played well, and his card just spiked. Another guy I keep hearing about a lot like Pritchard is I can't think of his name. The guy for the Thunder, the weird 19-year-old that's super skinny. I've had 7 people go, oh yeah, that guy's gonna be good. I can't think of his name. Alexi,
Sadiq Bey?
maybe.
Sadiq Bey?
That's the.
Oh,
No,
that's
no.
Pistons.
Like
Yeah.
he's from like Croatia or something. But yeah, just
trying to picture
whoever that is.
Alexis
Pull.
Okay.
Yeah. So the guy on the Thunder that you can't pronounce.
He looks
but
the
I've
part.
had 7 different people, unrelated, not in the same room, go. It's just see a card of him. Go, yeah, I like him. He's gonna be a big deal.
Interesting. I haven't watched him play in a
I
game
haven't
yet.
played-
So I've watched Pritchard play a lot in college.
Yeah.
One of my buddies has been a collector of Pritchard.
Oh well.
And so like he's kind of cued me into like this guy can shoot.
Yeah.
Watch, just if he gets minutes.
But this
He's
is an
productive.
important thing. This is something Gary Vee talks about in terms of marketing. But
Yes.
it works with sports cards. If you're in a bunch of different card Facebook groups,
Yep.
Instagram, whatever, really, you don't have to ever watch a game. You just hear people say names over and over and over again, and then all of a sudden you hear a name, and you're like, oh, I don't know who that is, and you hear it again, you're like, okay. here to get like okay. Now a bunch of people are saying his name.
Right.
You can probably just start buying his cards,
Right.
even though you've never seen him play.
Love it.
You never looked up Basketball Reference. That's a real thing. Just that because by hearing the name a lot, that means people are more likely to buy in, and if they're more likely to buy in, the more likely the price is going to go up.
Right.
So that's something that's helpful when you're in a card shop all day long. Is all people talk about sports.
Right.
If they just hear names.
Deion Sanders is number 10.
He's coaching, so that's part of it.
No, okay. I can go over to volume and just.
Number?
My guess is Zion and Jordan and all that. But anybody weird on that list?
Sales volume by player.
We never really.
No, I mean, it's who you think.
It's
all.
Jordan
There's
and
nobody's
Zion
cracked.
and
Yeah.
LeBron.
Is-
One.
Yeah, let's talk about LeBron. So we want to talk about that
Yep.
since there's nobody crazy. So you said you asked me if we want to talk about LeBron and him talking.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I've had a lot of customers make comments, both sides. Both sides.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because LeBron has taken a much more polarizing stance politically and as an activist than, let's say, Jordan did.
Right.
Jordan took a
Jordan didn't take a position at all.
Jordan's famous quote in The Last Dance was "Republicans buy tennis shoes too."
Right. Or
So
conservatives.
yeah, so
whatever it
basically
was.
he wouldn't formally endorse a Democratic candidate
Right.
in his home state of North Carolina during when they wanted him to, and that was
Right.
part of the reason. Now, like I'm all for someone like you have your convictions, you can do that. Now, people don't necessarily I don't necessarily value their opinion because he's
No.
good at basketball, and I think people need to recognize why you need to have a logical thought about why you're receiving what someone's saying as gospel or not, or you know what I mean? Is it actually a good argument logically?
Okay, so here's my analysis on this, and this is not really even about LeBron. It's about anybody famous talking politics,
Sure.
right? But it's especially for athletes.
Yeah.
Especially for athletes. Actors, maybe. So I have a particular interest in politics. I always have.
Yep.
Since middle school. Politics, baseball cards, and sports in general. Those are the three things I know a lot about, right?
Yep.
But one of the things that's interesting, especially about athletes, is, and now this is not a micro argument. This is a macro argument. So you take somebody like LeBron or really anybody, and they were really good at sports by 10, 11. Then all they did was train in sports all through high school. And LeBron particularly, that's all he did. He's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. He televised high school game. Then he goes right to the NBA. He goes to the NBA, does a good job picking businesses and things like that. So he's got endorsement and
Very
businesses.
marketable.
And he's one of the best players in the NBA, if not the best. And all he's doing is working to be the best at this physically taxing activity. This is why you go athletes over movie stars, because it's physically taxing. And he's a geopolitical expert. Maybe the geopolitical expert, right? Maybe he's a philosophy expert. Maybe that's what he does in his off time. But the macro argument is, out of the NBA, there's what, 300 basketball players?
Yeah, 450.
And 250 of them are politics experts? No.
Right.
They're not. So just going from the number, again, it's a macro argument, not a micro number argument.
Can I play the devil's advocate for a second?
They don't know anything.
Here's what they're arguing though is we're not political experts, and I'm just voicing their what I would say is their narrative is we grew up in these areas, we have these life experiences.
That's an anecdotal fallacy.
Sure.
So that's a logically false argument to make. Because what happens? So.
And I'm not arguing that, so I don't know why.
Right,
I mean, I'm not arguing that.
No, I understand that, but no, that's called
Yes.
an anecdotal fallacy, right?
Sure.
So if you say that's a very simple argument. We're in an argument about something, and I say most dogs pee on fire hydrants, and you say no, they don't, and I say yes, they do, and I show you a bunch of numbers and stuff, and you say, well, I had a poodle that never peed on a fire hydrant. Well, so what? That doesn't mean anything. It's anecdotal. It means nothing. It doesn't demonstrate a theory. It doesn't demonstrate rates. It doesn't demonstrate anything.
But let me ask you this. Would it be anecdotal to say, an anecdotal fallacy to say, there is issue with police brutality in the inner city, and him to say, I have 8 experiences of it? Is that still an anecdotal fallacy?
It absolutely is.
Okay, so what makes it not an anecdotal fallacy?
Rate statistics.
Yeah, but understand something. You don't, as an individual, have the ability to experience the macro rates of it. All you experience is
I'm
your
not
experiences.
experiencing it, but I can see it in black and white. I can see the number of people killed. I can see the number of complaints.
But there also
see the
is.
number.
But here's the other question: is how accurate are all those studies
No,
versus
that's
yours?
true. But what am I going to go off of? Your one life.
No,
your
and I'm
one
not saying you
experience?
should, but I'm saying, like for example, your experience with being hard of hearing and going through the hiring process. Let's say someone showed you a bunch of studies that said that never happens, and you go, well, how do I
not
reconcile?
never, but like the rate, you're overstating the rate.
Yeah.
They would be correct.
But then how? So, but is your experience of no value?
It's not of no value, but it's of anecdotal value. It's of little value.
So what is the value of that? You can still want to change your experience.
Well, because
right?
the only real value of that, so in that experience, or even LeBron's experience, because here's the other thing too is, are they even being truthful about their experience?
Oh,
maybe LeBron's
Who
a
knows?
jerk.
Yeah.
Maybe what's the tattoo? What's the tattoo? The chosen one?
Chosen maybe or something.
Whatever it is. He got that at like 16 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like you think he doesn't have kind of a big head tattooing that? Like maybe when he was 16, he was kind of a jerk, and every time he saw a cop, he was just. Yeah, so that's why anecdotal fallacy exists, right? I don't.
Yep.
You're telling me your perception of what happened. Maybe it happened, maybe it didn't.
But how do I? Let me ask you. This is a very. Gosh, what is the word? Not existential. This is a very. You'll think of it when I say it. My perception of reality.
Right.
What's the word for my perception of reality? It's my
paradigm.
Not paradigm. I'll think of it. But anyway, it's not the ultimate determinator of truth, obviously, but it's also an important part of what makes me a person.
Yeah.
We're the sum of.
I'll put it this way: your personal experiences help develop your political philosophy. That is true.
Yeah, that's
that
all.
Is
yeah,
true.
That's the point. I guess.
But for you to say, because I had this experience, therefore this is how it is.
Yeah, you can't draw those conclusions.
No, I will tell you this right now. There are a number of people in the deaf community that feel like they're constantly being victimized and oppressed by hearing people at all times.
Sure.
Everything is oppression.
Right.
And because they've chosen to take every interaction as oppression. And so I told you this in the past about my trouble finding work and things like that. I said, well, I did like 1,000 job applications. I got 2 interviews. One I know was discrimination, right? But 1,000, some of them I just wasn't qualified for. I have to take that. And it was employment was high at the time. Yep. Some of them was probably discrimination. I don't know how much. Yep. So I'm not going to overstate what it was. Just most likely some of it was, right?
Yeah.
And so
the odds are higher than they are not.
That there was no discrimination,
right.
And so it's just if I take that approach, right?
Yep.
That's a much healthier approach to take,
yes.
And I would have to see some numbers to really back it up.
Yeah.
Now I can say is there likely discrimination in the deaf community? Sure, because unemployment is 40%.
Right.
But here's where I've told you the second thing. Do people wake up? As a hearing person. I hate it when people say that. As a whatever, I'm like, whatever.
I guess it's a form of privilege.
Do you wake up and go, those deaf people, I'm sick of their crap.
Never once have I ever thought.
I'm going to oppress those people today.
Yeah.
How many people think of the world?
Never. I mean, there
maybe a couple. I would
say this. It would be more likely that they actually knew someone, that they had some sort of issue with.
There are more racists than there are people.
Oh, for sure.
Real racists than there are people going like, those deaf people.
Well, part of it is you don't even, unless you interact with someone who's hard of hearing, you don't even know they are. Whereas
does discrimination happen? Sure. Is it nefarious? Not necessarily.
Because
what I explained in jobs.
That's good. Yeah.
In a jobs interview situations, more likely than not, the hiring manager's like, oh man, I'm so busy and I'm hiring someone to help take the load off, and I don't know how to deal with, this person's disability, and what do I do? That's not an unfair. It might be unfair, but it's not an unreasonable position for that hiring manager to take. He's like, oh man, I really would like to.
It might trigger anxiety of them of like not knowing how to handle it,
and that's why unemployment is high. It's not because somebody's being like evil,
or it's not necessarily them saying we're going to purposely turn away someone who's more qualified. They're saying maybe this is going to cause an issue in this role.
And I don't have any notes, but from what I can tell from the macro numbers, when it comes to police brutality, it's not a race issue.
I agree.
And it's the incident rate in terms of interaction and bad things happening are correlated with how many interactions there are. Mm-hmm. Now, I can make other arguments in terms of government, things being illegal, like drugs. I can take positions that all police officers are government agents and therefore cannot be trusted. No government official can be trusted. And police officers are agents of the government, and fair enough. But how many police officers are waking up and especially police officers who work in Baltimore or North Minneapolis going like, I don't like those people. Like, really, that's where you chose to work? You could have worked at some suburban.
Yeah.
Instead, you're in a place where there's literally gunshots.
You're probably from that community. A lot of people are.
Yeah, but why would you want to be around people that you detest?
So let me ask you. Let me ask you this question in context of LeBron. Do you feel like this level of outspokenness politically is a detriment or an asset to him? His brand and his cards
So now, because everything is about sports cards, and that
obviously.
is the top priority of everything. Police brutality, second fiddle.
Yes.
Liberty and government, who cares?
Discrimination,
basketball cards. Right, basketball cards. Discrimination, who cares?
Don't discriminate against basketball cards.
It's like basketball cards, number one, everything else second. So there's two things to think of. One is, you don't need everybody to love you in order for your cards to go high. You need a rabid fan base to do that, right? Yep. And so there can be a lot of people don't like Jordan, but Jordan still sells high. So he doesn't need.
But
everyone.
Jordan is not disliked as much as LeBron.
No,
is
fair
that
enough.
Would you say
no?
that's
true. That's absolutely true. And so, but there's all those people they hate whoever's successful.
Yep. Now
I'm a contrarian. It's not necessarily I hate them. I just like to look for the other guy. But there's people that, if they're good, it's like there's something wrong with them.
Well, and as the old saying goes, any publicity is good publicity. You know that saying?
Yeah, I think OJ would have a bone to pick with that.
But let me say, card-wise, but let me say this. How many people know about O.J. Simpson more so from that than his playing career?
Right, but
most.
No,
it's not good. No, it's not good. But I'm saying like LeBron, because it's not like criminal what he's doing.
Right. Well, here's the other aspect though. If we think about who are the card collectors, now something comes into play, and race does come in play.
More conservatives, yeah.
Card collectors, I don't know if they're more conservative, but they probably are because they're mainly middle to upper middle class white males or Asian males. Mm-hmm. Those are the card collectors. White males, Asian males, over 35 lives in suburbs. That is.
Now we're not saying now. Jeff Wilson made a good point. There's actually a growing number of female collectors, but the majority.
But historically, that is the target market because even the kids who collect end up being in that target market, right?
Right.
So even the kids are going to end up there, right? Yep. Eventually. And so
because it's more of a socioeconomic than a race.
Super poor, which I'm kind of an exception because we're right. But you can buy the rack packs for 75 cents. But you don't have all this extra money to spend on pictures.
Right.
But if you're middle class and you got a little bit of extra money, and I'm talking about before, like in the 80s and 90s.
Before the boom, now with only the upper class can really
but
almost.
But here's $3, buy 4-pack cards. Buy 6
or like think about like our parents' era where you could literally buy for 5 cents, which was the cost of a burger.
But understand though, if you have no money, even then, it's the cost of a burger.
Right.
Like it could be a meal or a pack of photos.
Right.
Like we're getting a burger. Like what are you crazy? And so I'm sort of kind of an exception from an economic standpoint.
Sure.
But yeah, so that's the other aspect is if you look who's collecting, that could potentially hurt LeBron's long term. But my biggest issue with it is he really doesn't know what he's talking about. It's very clear that he's really uneducated in terms of philosophy, in terms of politics, in terms. And I think what it is I think he feels like he needs to be Muhammad Ali, because you could tell Muhammad Ali wasn't putting on a show.
Right.
He had convictions. He believed in what he believed.
Yep.
And he wasn't. And he wasn't. And by the way, Muhammad Ali had a sacrifice.
Right.
Because he couldn't fight for. I'm not a Muhammad Ali expert. He couldn't fight for like 3 years or 5 years or whatever it was. And then, and so, did he get put in jail too? So he actually got punished for his political views.
Right.
When LeBron says something and then he's celebrated,
it's a different.
Are you really taking a risk?
Right.
Are you really, or are you going with the flow?
Now he may cost him a risk financially if he gets a place where he loses endorsements or something like that. But let me say this. I feel like, and this is me maybe deep diving too much philosophically what I see happening, but I get this sense that LeBron feels, and it's back to the tattoo comment, the chosen, that he has this responsibility that like if he doesn't, he feels a pressure from the black community to be like, hey, you're the biggest name in this country right now that can voice this.
If that's the case, and I think you're right. I think he feels that way. I really wish he would do some work and researching before he says stuff.
For sure.
Because he's hurting.
And
hurting
you know what?
Everything.
Hey, I wish politicians would too. Because there's a lot of politicians. There's a lot of
again, no government
figureheads. There's a lot of celebrities. Like, just because someone is an expert in one field doesn't make them qualified.
That is I know this is actually kind of smart even with cards because it applies everywhere no matter what. Yeah. That is 1,000% true. Because of the way the economy modified from an agrarian economy to a specialization economy, we are all really, really smart about a couple of things,
and that's it.
And it does not cross over to other stuff.
Yeah.
There's a handful of people who are super smart. They know everything about everything, right?
Yep.
And that's why I'm saying, now, based on my opinion, LeBron's not. But he could have been the best basketball player in the world and super profound in philosophy. Maybe I don't think so, but it's unlikely. It's more likely that he's really good at basketball. In business, he has a lot of opportunities because of basketball.
Yep.
But he doesn't know.
And because we celebrate athletes in this country in this season of life so much, they have a platform that often people assume, well, of course this person must be speaking from sound logic or educated.
Well, no, you're really good at one thing, therefore you're really good at something else, and that's just not true.
The problem is most of the philosophers that are actually smart about politics, and they can't dunk a basketball, and so you don't respect them enough to listen to them.
No.
I mean, that's just a reality,
There's a guy named Thomas Sowell. He was I'm going to mess it. He's a student of another economist. I can't think of his name.
Okay.
He has been unbelievably brilliant, maybe the best philosopher alive right now. Best philosopher in the last 50 years. Nobody knows who he is.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's listened to him because, again, he doesn't. He's not famous. He's not. I mean, he's famous, but he's not famous in the sense of he's got 8 billion Twitter followers. I know he has Twitter.
Right.
Do
philosophers even get Twitter followers? Is that even like
no, but like if he was on Twitter, maybe he'd have more reach. So maybe that's a flaw in Thomas Sowell.
Or it's a flaw in our society in why we give weight to the voice. Interesting story. I won't bring up the guy's name. A guy who's been working for us told me a conversation about his wife and a conversation they had recently. They were at a PetSmart getting ready. They're getting a new puppy.
Okay.
And they had a conversation. He's owned a lot of dogs. They had a conversation about the dog, what size kennel or something, and he had given his thought of it. And his wife really didn't want to hear it, didn't really give a lot of weight to it. And then they're at this PetSmart, and this employee, who knows if they have actually any experience other than the fact they're now working here, gives the same advice, and all of a sudden now the wife's on board. Right. And he brought it up to me as it was something he was working through, and it's like, dude, that's exactly what's happening here, right? Like the person that actually knows what they're saying should be listened to and received oftentimes someone doesn't have the respect, which tells you how we position ourselves to people, tells us how much we can actually receive.
But let's
from it.
understand something. There's another logical fallacy there, though. It's called an appeal to authority.
Mm-hmm.
And so just because that guy works at PetSmart
Doesn't mean he knows
he
anything.
knows
That's what I'm
he's
saying.
talking about.
And that's what he was saying. He goes, why did she, over me, her
Yeah.
husband, who
Maybe her husband did a bunch of research.
and not only that, she knows how many dogs he's owned,
Yeah.
his experience, and not only that, he's fully invested in
and
this
by the way,
decision.
maybe the PetSmart guy is all about fish.
Right.
That's what he's about. And he kind of knows that. Well, here's an important thing back to cards.
Yeah.
You come in a card shop, so I would like to say that I'm probably in cards. I'm probably top 10% in being able to analyze a baseball player in
Yes.
terms of cards.
Oh, easily.
But I'm bottom 30% in basketball. I'm bottom 1% in hockey. So you come in here,
Yeah.
and you say, hey, who do you think's really good to buy in hockey? And I don't want to be embarrassed, and I'm just at a walking embarrassment, so I don't care.
Wayne Gretzky.
But I'm like, oh yeah, you should buy this guy and this guy and this guy, and then they go, oh well, he must know what he's talking about. Let's say they dispute me, and I go, look, who owns the card shop? Right? Who owns the card shop? Me or you? Right?
That's the best.
That's an appeal to authority.
Appeal to
I'm
authority.
saying
Yeah.
this thing. The real common one is I have a degree in such and such, therefore.
Yeah.
But the problem is that it's really easy to spell because you go, well, one person has a degree in that,
Yep.
another person has a degree in the same
And they
thing,
disagree.
and they disagree.
Yeah.
It can't be true.
How do you reconcile
And that's
it?
why it's a really easy one to be like, no, that's not a good argument.
Yep.
And so, but like I do that all the time. I go, like, I don't know hockey.
Yeah.
Like I've heard this guy, this guy, this guy. If it's baseball, I get a lot stronger. If it's football,
Yeah.
not as strong, but pretty strong. If it's basketball, I really kind of go, all right. Well, like with Clay Thompson,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I'm taking information from you.
Yeah.
Hockey, I'm like, I've heard of this dude.
Right.
Like
hockey and
Austin
soccer, I'm just like,
Matthews.
huh?
Austin Matthews is a good hockey player.
He's a good
I know
hockey
that.
player. So is Connor McDavid.
But I can't tell you any more than other than that.
And I can
probably.
hardly even watch a game and discern talent level in hockey other than like, oh, that guy scored. He must be good.
yeah,
It's like,
I
I don't know.
can't-
Maybe he's not. Actually, he
I
just
can't
scored.
see line shifting.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't see movement that makes any sense.
Whereas like someone who grew up with hockey,
Yeah.
like you just watch the game and it's just different. Like,
The thing I find amazing though, and how deep are we?
138.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect.
what's up? So
What's
the
up?
one thing I noticed was my first job out of college, my boss had season tickets to the Capitals.
Mhm.
I ended up going to like a dozen games.
Nice.
My thing is those hockey players never get hit.
Yeah.
And obviously
very
they
few
get hit
big
once in a while,
checks,
but
but yeah,
almost
no,
never.
yeah.
They do this thing where they spin away from the hit,
Yeah.
and really the guy trying to hit him ends up laying into the plexi all by himself.
It's so much harder. Yeah.
So I said that to my boss. I'm like, I haven't seen a clean hit, and it's the third period.
Yeah.
like what's going
They're
on?
professionals.
And he's like, yeah,
taking
dude.
shots.
He's like, they never take hits. That's why they can play for 27 years.
Right.
They're 59.
Unless they drop gloves, then they actually.
Yeah,
sometimes
well,
do.
yeah,
But then
you
it's a
don't
lot of
do-
times just wrestling anyway. They don't even.
Yeah, but the
actually,
defensemen don't
Yeah.
don't play for 25 years,
Right,
but
right,
the right wing does.
Right,
You know,
right.
the centers do. So I always thought that was interesting. They weren't taking any hits.
Totally agree.
Do you have anything else?
No, I think I'm good.
Very cool. Thank you.
Oh,
all for
Bloomington Card Show this weekend. That's the
Bloomington
only
Card
thing.
Show,
But you're
and then Dell's is coming up very soon.
the week
3
after.
weeks.
Yep, 3 weeks, and then Dallas. Yep.
3 weeks, and then Dallas.
Cool.
Thank you all for listening.